I'm very happy to have you here in Slovakia, in Bratislava, in the office of International Organization of Doctors in Slovakia. I'm Alona Kurotova. It is a beautiful couple of French cyclists.
Yes.
Yes. Davy,
Yes.
and Emily.
Yes.
Sanchez. And we have Valérie Demange. She's my friend. She's living with her family in Bratislava. She's from French too. Yes, and we would like to speak about our project, your project.
Yes.
But we are happy to be with you and support you. It is Bike Up&Down project. Yes, and you will come to Australia or New Caledonia, and the reason is that you would like to support people with mental disability and Down syndrome people to show this problem to all countries on your way. Yes, and I can show.
Yes, we have a lot of countries. From France to New Caledonia, it's a little island near Australia. It's not very, not very famous, but in France it's a paradise. And we go in Asia Minor, and we want to say that sport is good. It's good for all, and we see a lot of people with mental disabilities who are very good when they play sport. They are more happy and they are more inclusive with other people, ordinary people.
And why you decided to circle to support these people? What reason was?
We went in a lot of countries because we travel, and when we travel, we make a half marathon, a trail in Taiwan or in Sweden, and we see sometimes we see people with motor handicap, but we don't see people with Down syndrome or mental disability. And we think why? And after there is an American man. It's Chris Nikic. Chris Nikic is a man with a Down syndrome. He did a half Ironman. So at the same.
From what country?
He's from USA. And at the same time, I trained for triathlon, and it was very difficult. So we said we want to travel in our life with Emily. One project was to travel a very long time in a minimalist mode, but without airplane, because it's more ecological. We love to be with people. And we want to have a project for all the people, a good thing. And our force is travel, sport, and at this time we choose to help people with mental disability.
Yes, Down syndrome is a symbol because it's well known in the world, but it's symbol for in the world there are 200 million of people with intellectual disability, so it's very important. And the society makes efforts for physical disabilities often, but it's more complicated with intellectual disabilities because people are often afraid to talk them, and we want to change an open mind of the people with about the intellectual disabilities person. We want people talk them directly and not at their parents.
Or doctors.
Yes, and people can make sport with them. They can run with them. They can make a bicycle or tandem with them. Yes, any citizen can involve in this project, and we want there less discrimination between physical disabilities and intellectual disabilities. For example, in Paralympic Games, there is only 3 sports for intellectual disabilities.
Yeah.
This is athleticism, table tennis, and swimming. But that's all. For physical disability, there is a lot of sports. There is discrimination between.
Is any sportsman who has physical and mental disability and they are good in sport or not?
Yes, they're good. And when
example, I don't know. People with handicap, mental and motor disability. Yes, they have, I think, but we don't see. Yes, not in the elite sport, because in these Olympic Games there is elite sport. After there is a lot of people, ordinary people in the society. They make sport, but not in the Olympic Games. We are ordinary people for a normal society, and there is not just the elite, but there is some people who are running with another people with I don't know, une charrette.
Wheelchair? Non, plus.
Ben, tu sais, quand au départ des courses, il y a des, on pousse les personnes Joëlette, alors ça c'est compliqué. In French,
a technical name for I will not be able to say this one.
Sometimes there is a running, and you have 4 people, ordinary people like us, with people with mental and motor disabled, and they hang up the people along the trail during 30 or a marathon. In France, we see that in a lot of course. And before we were in a little association, Touche Cours, and there is a little child, and we support him with this chair. It's a chair.
We think inclusion is important in all the fields. It's sport, school, employment. We would like employers enroll more disability persons. It's important. For example, in France there are inclusive restaurants, but in other countries, like in Slovaquia, there is inclusive hotel with members of the staff which have disability.
And where is this hotel in Bratislava?
This is Bivio Hotel. This is at the north of Bratislava, western north of Bratislava.
Didn't see this hotel
before.
Yes,
we will go there tonight. Yes.
Down
syndrome Slovakia invited us.
We thanks a lot Down syndrome Slovakia because we could stay 2 nights here, and we can see how are the person. After we want in France we cooked with disabled people in the restaurant. So it was good for us to be included with the people, not to be normal.
Interesting.
I think it will be a nice experience to see how they are working in this hotel, and if they could have this overview about what we are doing in Slovakia and how we are managing it, because the idea is really to see some best practice.
Yes.
At the end of your great trip, maybe you can highlight this great experience you have seen in several countries, and show that nothing is impossible. There is a lot of things who have been done.
It will be a big conference.
Yes.
With a report that is the best practice all over the world. Because there's a lot of like Austria you lost, but Romania, Moldova, Ukraine, Turkey, Georgia, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, China. It is a lot of best practice there. I think, I hope.
And before in France, we did a lot of action with association, with sport association. We have in France a lot of inclusive sport in association and adapted sport association. So you have two specialists with sport, and all the time they do sport with disabled people, with mental disability. I don't know if in Slovakia there is an association. I found them this morning. Special Olympics.
Yes, Special Olympics. I spoke with them too. They have several. With mental disability, and Wednesday we will meet with one boy. Yes, and they support it, and they think it is a great idea. But now it is vacations, a lot of vacations. That's why maybe in the future, when you will have this big conference with best practice, we can arrange it. Slovakia will share this information. And I hope that it will be better. I would like to say about our statistics now, maybe for our listeners. We have 2,400 people with Down syndrome. Yes, statistics, and every year 50 or 100 newborn kids came in our society. That's why it is very important to start with them after their birth, and support them with sport. I think that is the best idea. And we spoke with doctors in our association. Yes, they agree with you.
Yes.
And I hope I will be very happy if you will share with us this best practice from all over the world.
Yes.
It's important mix person without disabilities and with disabilities, and we think education is very important, and if pupils with disabilities can go to school with pupils without disabilities, maybe kids without disabilities later won't be afraid of this person. Education.
Inclusion is very important, and now we have this approach. We have a recovery plan in the future, and inclusion is the main idea of this change. That's why we think of growth, and maybe we're getting better. Thank you very much for our dialogue, and good luck for this long trip.
I would like to thank you for your warm welcoming of the two French citizens, because for me it was very important that in Slovakia we are able also to support, and you are the best person to support this action. So thank you for all the contact on the job you did to support them.
And thank